Hi, I'm Jason from Necropolis Spirits. We're in the Piper Whisky Bar on George Square. This is Hauf Cut Under Informed, a podcast where we're going to be talking to people around the city about their lives and their experience with whisky so far. So sit back, grab a dram, enjoy the show. Sanj. Right, welcome to Hauf Cut Under Informed. Today we're joined by Mark. Many will probably know him as the Neddy Scientist, because that's how I remember him. For videos of you and Alba running about the field. And I don't know why I always had you on Instagram. And then we kind of met a few times and I realised that you kind of were into whiskey. So thank you very much for coming in, thanks.
Pleasure.
I say this before, but you talk like us, you talk about whiskey like us, so it was almost perfect to have you as one of the first guests. So
natural progression, huh?
So, just to explain a wee bit of background, so you had a gym, didn't you?
Yep.
It was a rehab gym.
Rehab and for performance.
And performance, yep. Right. Me and Anton both have dodgy knees. And we often say we've got about two knees between the four of them. I ended up going, met you there, spoke about whiskey for ages, never done any rehab that first time I was talking to you. It was going on for a wee while. And then we were just kind of hanging, and then we realised...
It was a rum at first. It was a rum
so
we spoke about as well.
Aye, and then... I remember I came back in.
And you come back in, you gave us a wee tasters.
Yep, certainly did. So I, as I say, we kind of bonded about whiskey. And then we've since been to whiskey tastings and stuff. But thank you very much for coming.
Pleasure, mate. Pleasure.
So we're going to get stuck into this because we had a wee bit of a slight malfunction with timings. We're going to do our first dram, which is the 12-year-old Tea and Innick, which is 10 years in a bourbon cask, 2 years in a red wine hot brew on barrique. Please excuse me, I was sweating my pan in here because I was stressed at my nut there. But that's us, we're sorted. What is your... As we're kind of drinking this, what's your...
Taste this?
I go for it, mate, bar in. I'm trying to cool down before I do it and stupid. What was your kind of background? We were talking about this before, because you started kind of college later on, didn't you?
Aye.
Then...
somebody said to me before, it sounded like I've had two lives. I said, well, there's maybe a few more than that. But my background was fairly normal, just as any normal wee guy growing up in kind of Glasgow area is. Pretty normal, pretty average. And then as you start to get older and you venture out and your, curiosity kills a cat, and you start to venture out a wee bit and go into different areas and into the town, and you're going in and so then I started off going to the unders as a wee guy, the under 18s, like all rave music that I still listen to, at like 14, 15. And then that progressed to going to the real dancing at like 16, 17. To then that progressed into continuing to do that, going to raves, going to just following that kind of club scene and that rave scene right up until 2007. My last rave was November 2007.
You say that as if it was like my last drink was...
That was quite specific.
I remember it.
What rave was it?
It was Fantasylands at Ingleston. And that was my last rave. And since then I've threatened to go here and there. I've been to Ibiza a couple of times since then, but that was my first my last proper rave. Sorry. So all the kind of fun stopped in 2007, and then there was a period of self-reflection, let's say forced self-reflection, a wee short period of that. To then that was a kind of pivotal point in changing. Mm-hmm. When I then came back home and was I hadn't been drinking, I hadn't been partying. And I started to train, started to get running, I started hitting the gym, and I was like, this is class, I feel class here. And then I had learned to barber, but I was too slow. So when I came out to cut hair, I was taking ages, I was taking forever. So I was too slow, I knew that I wasn't going to, and I wasn't brilliant, I was alright, there was some haircuts I was good at, some I wasn't. So while I was cutting hair at the weekends, I then started a fitness course at college. An NQ fitness course. And I'm 27, 28, and there's wee guys that have left school at Christmas, and they're still 15. Mm-hmm. 3 wee guys, I'm getting them into trouble. Like, wee man, stop carrying on, you're not in school. Stop trying to bam the teacher up. If you don't want to be here, beat it. Somebody brought their dad with them here. So I done the college, done that 6 month course. I remember the lecturer was saying, like, you're a bit mature and you're into your training, you could just start the full HN course in August. And I'm like, no, I'd like to get back into a routine and start to get back used to writing essays. I've not done anything like that in school and blah, blah, blah. But in the back of my head, I'm like, you go to Lanzarote, there's a week, there's a full week in Lanzarote, a big fitness resort, and it's paid for and all that, it's all funded. I was like, I'm going to Lanzarote if you're not. And I was like, no, I'd like to get back in the swing. So she's like, right, cool. So I done the 6 months course, loved it, stayed on, done the 2 years HND, fitness, health and exercise. As I was in the second year, talking to one of the lecturers who was like same age as me, so we were just outside the classes, we would just talk to the boys. Inside the class, then I'd obviously give him his place and be professional, that sort of thing. But I started talking to him one day and he was working with St Mum, 19, so I said, I'd love to do that. He's like, go to uni, do a sports science. Just so happened, I've got family who done sport, one's a sports science lecturer and another one is now a sports science lecturer, but she was doing stuff. So I spoke to them and they're like, go for it. And I'm like, my brain cells are all melted, man. I was mad with it for 10 years, do you know what I mean? So, but college logged me on as a false sense of security. I thought that because I was right into it at college. So but I thought because I was top of the class at college, then it was just going to be a smooth transition to uni. But it's like going from nursery to high school, you're like, oh, what? Sitting in lectures in uni, they're talking about trigonometry and SOHCAHTOA and all that. And I'm like, what?
Yeah, I've not heard that word in years.
I know, and I was like, that's what I'm like, and I'm sitting surrounded by people who are at least 10 years younger than me. And it was in Edinburgh as well, so like I was a total different generation, and a total different area, it was mad. But so during that period, I had calmed everything down. I didn't even really have money because there was a period I wasn't working in rent at all, and I was back living in my mum and dad's house, and I'm studying and that sort of thing, so and I couldn't really go out and spend though. And then I was working, but you're really just trying to kind of feed myself and no cost my mum and dad too much money. I had a wee motor and you're trying to run the motor and you're just trying to, so I wasn't out partying and all that sort of thing, but because I wasn't partying, because I was training, just kept me on the rail sort of thing. And then my dream was finishing uni and I was doing voluntary stuff and I was getting me jobs here and there within football, so my dream was I was then going to go and do sports science with football, finish uni, and it was just like, it's like a pure anticlimax, like what happens now? Do you know what I mean? Like, where do you go, man? Like, what happens? And I was applying for jobs and wasn't getting anywhere. A few things happened and I just went, you know what, fuck it, we're here once. I had this idea to open up a gym now, I'm just going to go for it and open up this gym.
And is that the first iteration of the gym? So the one I met you in, is that gym that you started in?
No, my first premises was in Townhead, so see where the pitch power league is?
Aye.
The first premises was in there. Now that was like 11 years ago when I was doing all this. So back then there was like every daft PT's opened up a unit somewhere. They're all over the place.
Shots fired.
See back then there was nobody. There was like a boy Ross Stewart who's got a gym called Improve Glasgow. He was down the bottom of the town and I'd opened up at the top of the town. But other than that, when I was doing all my research to go and apply to get my loan and my funds and all that sort of thing, I was using gyms. There was a couple down south because I was S&C performance rehab that I was wanting to do. So I was using models from Australia, Canada, America, and I found a place in Newcastle that kind of done it, but nobody could grasp this concept of there's 6 E's will come. And we'll do a training session, you're paying whatever it is a month to come. I'm like, fucking hell, I can go to Pure Gym for a score. I'm like, I know, but you're getting a programme here, you're doing this. No, it's obviously, that's the thing, that's what everybody does. So it was hard at the start, but I just went for it. I just had this idea and this concept in my head and just kept going for it. I did gym for 10 years, moved premises a couple of times, and then shut it down at the end of last year. Just got to a point when I was like, wait a minute, I'm the 9th person to get paid here, and I've got the overheads and everything's getting up, and I was like, and my passion had went from it. I had went down more the mind route, and that's where I knew I kind of wanted. I was getting too old for it, and
mate, because I was in, and I know that it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a good laugh. Like there's a lot of football players in winter. Like, and I say football players, it wasn't as if it was like fucking.
Well, you were in on the rehab, so you could have a boys club player in for getting an injury rehab. You could have an amateur, and then you could have a junior player, and you could have a lower league senior. There was no full-time seniors, but you could have lower league. So there was a pure mix. But because everybody, mostly football players, they were all in together doing rehab, so it worked well because mentally you're in a group with everybody. You're getting a laugh, you're seeing people who have been through the rehab process and they're getting signed off, so it showed you there was a wee bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But it also replaced that environment of where do you go 2 nights a week? Because you're missing the Saturday, aren't you? You're not involved in the dressing room and that sort of thing. So
that was, I did feel that, because I was even getting like that, like see, because I think I went, I can't remember how was it once a week or something, or once every 2 weeks or something? I can't remember how the plan worked. But you go and you're talking to all the same boys and you're going, how are you getting on, how is it?
Aye.
Brilliant. And it was all like ACLs and all that.
Constant
and then I'm telling them, what's happening with you? Were you football? And I'm like, no man, I tried to run a half marathon and one go and hooked my knee up, man. So I was like, nah, I'm just an idiot. You're actually doing what you're trying to.
It was class. I mean, there was a boy, Danny Johnson, and he gets signed off, and he's like, he'd been ways for a while. He was an ACL. And he's like, I don't really want to go. He's like, I might just come in one night a week, man, just chill, get a cup of tea. He's like, because it was just a good laugh, man. It was a good environment.
It was good, mate. I enjoyed it. The tunes were mental. Your tunes were crazy at points, man. You come in, there's like woman and all that.
Mad MC tunes.
Is it McKenna and stuff like that? Sometimes you're walking up, I'm feeling on the mood for this, and you'd walk in, you're like, this is actually going to be quite good now. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. So what's your thoughts on the tea and a nick, by the way, because you've went through half my page already, so.
I don't want to just say nice, because Kenny for Dram More here, he slaughters you for that, doesn't he?
Aye, get you out in front of the class, he was saying.
Kinda.
How about your tasting notes? Are you quite good with it?
No. But see, when somebody says something, I go, I get that.
Mate.
But what I got, it was like a kind of peachy, fruity.
So
at first there, I thought.
We see at the time, tasting notes are subjective. It's what you taste. I think I'm the same as you, mate. I'm very, very suggestible. Like, very suggestible. Somebody goes, there's grapes in that. I go, it's a glass of wine, aye. Do you know what I mean? So I believe, but I think, mate, I'm best at getting tasting notes. Like, if somebody asked me, like, I'd have shat myself there, I just went, I don't really know.
I think I'm getting the peachy now. Back in.
It's kind of like,
what
do you call that? The candy apple?
Alright, I know what you mean, aye. Kind of sweet apple,
Sweet apple, sort of, aye.
Again, mate, that's another Marcos. What did Marcos bring up? He was talking about a tasting note for the Glenallachie. And it was do you remember the wee packets of raisins? The wee cardboard boxes of raisins? The wee tiny ones?
Aye.
Mate, I hadn't thought of them in 25 years. And I hadn't thought of candy apples either in maybe 15, 20 years. So it's mad.
I hadn't thought of candy apples until I was like, what is that? It's like...
Again, mate, it's weird where it does.
It's strong as well, and I was like, I like that. See when you still feel it. See when you still feel it on the tongue. For a wee bit after. Like, I like that. So I think some whiskies you think it's going to kind of kick you in the mouth, and then it just disappears. You're like, right.
I like to have it sitting on the table.
I know. So I was talking to somebody about this as well. Like, I feel some whiskies disappear up the way. Do you know what I mean? See, like, they almost evaporate. I think some are like heavier and they feel there's a lot more liquid in them. And that's how I couldn't put that into taste notes. I was like, that. How do you say that? Do you know what I mean? There's going to be some way to explain that. I just don't haven't learned it yet. Again, that's part of the experience. It's what you experience. It's kind of what you taste. You don't need to go, there's apples on a sunny day. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't need to be like that. Sometimes you can go, that's kind of dry. It's kind of.
I can't taste by the kind of sweet apples now.
Aye.
That's
brilliant.
Quite a nice wee journey through like your career. So as like in your life, so as in you were after drinking one point and back and Greg called you. What about your journey through whiskey?
So
He's a wee starting point.
The starting point for us was at my wedding, and one of my groomsmen, one of my marshals, he'd said, he's like, we tradition, man, we'll get hang with. I'll buy a bottle of whiskey, we'll all have a wee nip, put your mum and dad's back. So all the groom's party were at my mum and dad's, and it was a bottle of Balvenie Doublewood, and so we all had a wee nip. But when I started drinking whiskey, I was trying to
finish it.
I'm like, fucking hell, man, like, I need to drink this. I'm Scottish and it's my wedding, do you know what I mean? I've got a kilt and all that one. So the bottle will get left in my mum and dad's, and then I had it sitting. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take it out of the road, because I was like, I kind of wanted to get into whiskey. So every now and then I would have a wee sip out it, or I'd have a whiskey out it, and it would be like kind of, but the fault I was having was I was taking too much, I think, or too big a drink. So one of the guys I worked with, he was in it, he said, just sip it. And the way he described it was, like a chocolate button. He said, just take a bit of chocolate button size, just let it melt in your tongue. And then see when I got it, I was like, right, I get you now. So at that time, that was obviously we just get married, and I was having beers and wine and that with my missus and that sort of thing. And it was kind of casual. And then we had just moved into our new house. My missus was pregnant, 7 months, and I went out to watch a football and overdone it a wee bit. What to say?
What game was it?
It was a Celtic Rangers game.
Mate, me and you've got the same story. I done mine.
It was a Celtic Rangers game at New Year, Christmas, New Year. Celtic get beat 1-0. I never ever did this, no. And I went to a boy I know had a pub. Went up to his pub to watch it. All excited, moved into a new house. That gym was closed for Christmas and get carried away.
That was a perfect setting for something to go wrong.
It was, aye.
It's not your fault.
An early kick-off as well. Do you know what I mean? All excited for that.
Mate.
6 Guinness in and you're like, aye. And so, made a bit of contact. And then, so that was like the 29th or something. I said, right, do you know what? I'm not drinking for a year. And so I never drank for a full year. Went total teetotal for a full year. Because I said, I've obviously still got the devil in me because of all the old party days, but I thought because I'd been socialising and doing it all sophisticated with your missus, I'm like, I've got this. But I didn't. Because that was the first time I'd actually been tested. So it wasn't, it wasn't until I was tested and then I failed. So I said, right, I'm not drinking for a year. I drank 0% beers because after a while I was like, I'm fucking choking for a beer, man. And a guy with a cafe next to my old gym said, get a couple of 0%. He said, just gives you like what you're looking for, that wee taste of a beer. But nothing's happening. You're not going anywhere. You're not on the phone to him there, anything. So that's what I done. And my
I think we'll go that one. Big Paul was laughing at that one. I think we'll go that too.
So that's what I done. And I stayed off it for a year. And I said, I'm staying off it for a year and I'm going to break the sobriety or whatever you want to call it, break the fast of the non-alcohol at the Bells next year. And I'm going to have a dram. And we done that, went away to a wee log cabin. And I think I took a bottle of whiskey beers, I can't remember. But I had a dram at that. And then I was like, do you know what? And see that year of not, like, I was waking my dog up at 7:30 in the morning, I'm like, and a Sunday, like, oh, well, let's go, man, we're off. And he's like, oh, fuck off. Whereas before, although I'd been kind of civilised drinking, it was still just pulling the plug out every touch. So when I done that, I says, well, do you know what? I'm just going to, on a Friday and a Saturday, I'm just going to have a couple of whiskies and that'll be me. And what I used to have was 1 double on a Friday and 2 doubles on a Saturday, and that'd be it. And I found that was my kind of limit. I had to buy one of the wee measures because I was born. I'm like, fucking hell, I've done half a bottle there. So I had to buy the measure. So that was just something I kind of stuck to because I felt if I have 4 singles, that's my kind of limit that I'm all right. The next day I'm fine, I can go up the bottle and that sort of thing. And that's just something I've kind of continued. I tend to still just drink 0%. Sometimes I'll drink a real beer, but I tend to just drink my 0% and I'll have my whiskies. And since I really go into whiskey and all the different tastes, I don't really drink doubles. I would rather just set myself up and I've got my wee shelf in the house and I've got all different whiskies, and I would rather just, that's right, you come in to have the bottle off. So I would rather have 4 different ones and have a wee kind of night to myself.
That was my next question, because I find, so see what you said about kept trying whiskey, was it the same bottle you kept trying?
Well, I had double Venny, but when when we were out, see when we were, because I didn't know about different regions and all that sort of thing. So if we were away for a wee night away or something, I would actually get at the bar, like I'm trying to get into whiskey, and if they were kind of knowledgeable, then they would give you a wee kind of rundown. And then during the lockdown, I just started to buy different bottles, and then that's when I started to understand the different regions. And there was something I read that said, try one from each region, see what one's your kind of favourite, and then and then pick more from that region, and then you can kind of narrow it down so you'd have different regions and then different cask finishes, and then it kind of narrows it down to what's your kind of favourite. And although I've got an Aberfeldy, which is a Highland one, it tends to be a Speyside. If somebody ever says, mate, what whiskey do you like? And if they're actually going to buy me something, if you're going to buy me something, just get my Speyside. Doesn't matter what it is, just get a Speyside.
You know, I like how you've said that as well, because I've spoken about this constantly, and my thing is find a reference point. So try, and I never said it as eloquently as that, try something for each region. I was like, just fucking keep trying. Do you know what I mean? Just try one and don't like it. Try something else.
I kind of like different finishes. So I went to a wee whiskey festival in SCCC, and I was going up, and people were going, give me the 18, give me the 20. I was like, have you got anything that's finished in a bourbon cask or anything that's finished? and they were like, some of them were talking to you a wee bit and they were giving you a different one. So that's more, I like the kind of different finishes and that.
We've experienced the folk into at whisky festivals.
We've been at the opposite end of the table.
Aye, we've been
dishing into drams.
Aye.
People are arseholes when they've had a drink in them, mate. It's
Aye.
a nightmare. But I find it as well, like, I think people see, which I feel like I don't see it, like, if you go to a whisky festival as a hunter, I don't really see it because we sell it, that it's to drink as much as possible. Because I know what happens when you get too drunk on whisky. I had a similar thing where I sell at Rangers game, and I was saying for half time. Yeah, and I woke up full time. My mum had got into my flat and had an ice pack in my head. And I had concussion because I'd missed a stair on the way back up the road. But I see that as well. Like, I think there's so much to try. I done it the wrong way. I went to what I would say would just be off the shelf stuff, just in Co-op and that. Whatever was cheapest, I would buy it and try it, and then I wouldn't. I've still got the ones that hit the neck out it, and I just kept trying to find what I liked. And I'm the same as you. It's mostly Speyside, but I'm finding like Campbelltown stuff that I'm liking. There's sweeter peat stuff that I'm starting to like as well. But I shouldn't have bought £40 bottles. I must have went. There was like 3 months I was buying 2 bottles every weekend. Just not to tan them, just to try them.
Just go wee tasting sets, man.
Mate, I know, or go to a pub and ask for anything for a different region instead of buying.
Because that's what I was getting during the lockdown. It was wee tasting sets. And sometimes during the lockdown, I was doing people favours, doing them programmes for training or whatever. And I was like, just get us a whisky hang or whatever. Just get one. And that's what somebody got, was wee tasting sets. And then I would get more ones so that I could work out what ones I liked and that sort of thing and look out for different ones. Just mention that the tasting, the festival at the SECC. My big mate, I'll not mention him, but he phoned me. He says, there's a whisky thing. I might get any whisky. You like it, don't you? I said, aye. He says, do you want to come? I says, aye. Never drank whisky before. So he hadn't. Right. Okay. So we went to the SEC, to the whisky convention, and everything's like 46%, 52%, 59%. Right? 2 drams, and I turned round. His head was purple. He was sweating. He's like,
me to know.
and he sat down, mate, and he gives a cup up. I was like, mate, we've had 2 drams. And that's when I thought he had been drinking just the normal stuff in the house. He's like, no, I've never actually drank it before.
So what prompted him to go?
He just wanted to get into it. And he knew I was into it, so he's like, can you come with us? I said, aye, that's cool.
I think the attitude there is as much as possible, as fast as possible. And I don't know how people drink like that. I do drink like that, but I need to put the brakes on myself to avoid. I'm very much, like, I try to be it's going to sound ridiculous, I'm not trying to be like a fitness or business guy. I try to be as efficient as possible. So see, if I'm drinking, I want to drink as fast as possible. And he'll vouch for this. I turn it off. I'll pick a better word, I turn it into an idiot. I just go quiet and I can't talk, and I'll just be on the couch just like smiling, can't talk, can't move. And it's just because I drink so much so quick. I feel like you need to, and I think going to that on the other side of the table is the same thing.
I don't really do that with whisky, and that's why I like drinking it, and that's why I like drinking it neat, maybe just a wee splash, because it is something I just sip.
You actually enjoy it. You actually sit and savor. But see what you were saying, you go away with your missus, maybe at a hotel and you talk to them. The same as, let's say, like these whisky bars, hotels, Scotch malt whisky side, and you go in and you get a bit of chat. Me and him ordered 2 drams there, and he ran through about 6 or 7 bottles and all different things about it, and it's see, just getting the chat after people about different things.
It's good seeing they know their stuff. It's good.
It's invaluable.
I was in a hotel in the town, and I ordered I like how you want to have, and there was a 21 or something like that. So there was one that I hadn't tried, and it turned out it was kind of expensive. But I said, like, can I get that one? And he's like, and he brought it on. He's like, what made you want to try this one? I was like, what are you talking to, you wee dick? I was like, aye, because
there's a snobbery around it, mate.
One I have is one of my favourite whiskies in it, mate. So, and I've not tried that one, so that's how.
Did they have a better suggestion or just?
No, he was just. I think he'd done a day's whiskey tasting qualification or something like that.
I'm doing mine in a couple of weeks, mate. So I'll have a match.
You're phoning me, mate. Stats.
You don't want this, you want
no. I want 6 tasting notes for that pronto. But no, I am doing a course in here because again we've started this and relatively under-informed, mate. That's the name of the podcast. Hauf Cut Under Informed. Know that we're encouraging over drinking. I think that you do need to have one of the nights where you have too much to drink to rein yourself in, and I had it with that Celtic Rangers game. I'll not say who I was supporting because the way.
Sweet gentle reminder.
It was lucky you done it.
No, it's the alcohol.
You done it in one night. It took me about 15 years.
Well, true. But again, it's you kind of need that. It was like a wee thing. Me like after done about 3 podcasts and I've told a story about 4 times. I ended up talking to my missus. My missus went out for a game and all.
Right.
And they'd won 3-0. I'd left it 2-0. And she phoned me because she seen that I'd cracked my head. And she goes, and I was trying to like, hide it. Like, this is my missus, I'm going to just try and play it cool. Aye, game was good. We won 2-0. She goes, it's 3-0 and I'm still watching it. I was like, no, man. And then that's when I kind of passed out. I woke up, my mom she'd obviously phoned my mom and went,
Mom crashed the door in, man.
Aye, she need to go and make sure he's no absolutely brain damaged after. Well, I was probably beforehand, but it's I think it very much is the case where you kind of need a wee reminder every so often that alcohol is still alcohol, do you know what I mean?
You say you have like your wee 4 single drams. That's responsible, do you know what I mean? You're actually enjoying it. It's not just a case of got a game and getting blazing for the sake of it.
I was nearly 40, well, took me about 40-year-old to
to
finally get there.
That last East City Whisky Club, you going Thursday?
No, I had to come out of this one. I've got too much on there now.
But we went to that one, mate. It was 8 drams, and one was
right.
rum and you won it. Mate, I was rubber. Do you remember how fast they went through them?
Aye, we went through them rapid style, man.
Next thing I know, I was down the stairs talking to, waiting, my missus came and picked us up, but I met my sister's pals, and
how long ladies?
That definitely was Rebecca, honestly. But no, because Rebecca came with the dog and I was showing him the dog and that. And then I was, next thing I know, it was like 9 o'clock and I was home. But I was like, I've only been there 2 hours, what's going on? And I was some Nick, but it was like...
That guy did go very fast, man.
He never like asked, he wasn't really asking questions, but really, was he? Because usually you have a bit of a chat after a dram. This is this.
Did you make the mistake of drinking pints of gas between the drams?
Mate.
We were on the 3rd dram, and although I was late for the start, so I hadn't even touched the first one. We were on the 2nd one, and then right on the 3rd, I was like, I've not even finished it. That's one.
Mate, too fast. You're going to go try this 2nd dram?
Aye.
Right, okay.
You going to introduce it to the camera?
Right. Well, that'd
have been good.
Edit that out.
No, keep it in.
The Aberfeldy. The reason I brought this one, there's a wee kind of story behind Aberfeldy and that brewery. So, that distillery, sorry. Me and my big dog Alba, we used to go up to a wee place in Aberfeldy, 5 nights in a wee cabin, just the 2 of us. Amazing, man. It was just bliss. Hardly said a word for 5 nights, like for that full time. It was just like...
Because you went with the dog?
Because I went with the dog. Do you know what I mean? It's just like whistling and grunting and like communicating, do you know what I mean? Just like, it was amazing. So there was... it's obviously up in Aberfeldy, so the first time I went to the distillery, got a bottle and had that in a wee hut, and then went up again and actually filled a bottle. I filled it from a cask in the distillery, a 20-year-old. And I was like, I'll get that and I'll kind of keep it scudded at that before I got up the road. So that's I've always, that was a present from the mother-in-law, just got us that there. But I've always liked to keep a wee Aberfeldy, and any time I see the Aberfeldy, it always reminds us of being up there. Big Alba's away now, so...
Cheers to Alba.
Aye.
Cheers to Alba.
Cheers to Big Alba.
A wee bit smelling notes of what, vanilla sponge cake or something?
That's lovely. What percent is that?
50, is it?
50, aye.
It's a lot softer and a lot easier.
So that's 40, but that's lovely, aye.
Is that 40,
aye?
40,
aye. Oh no, it's the other one I got on my one recently. I don't know if I want to mention another brand.
Yeah, go for it, mate, sorry.
The Glasgow.
Mate,
somebody getting with that as a wee gift, and that's 50%, I'm trying.
Aye.
No, we're pals with them, I like them.
Aye,
Paul actually
texted me. Me and him were chatting. We had another guest on before, we had shown before after us. And instead, you talk about other companies in the bars, the mere light or advertising for indie bottlers on the market is better for everybody, do you know what I mean?
Aye.
I think we're all facing the same problem, is like whiskey is perceived as an all guys drink, and it's like, no, you can't go and day.
Aye.
Or you can't go into a pub and try it because it's an all guys drink and you've tried one whiskey and you didn't like it. Like, just...
You can't drink it until you're 65 and
you're
in the pub.
Like I said, so I've got a shelf. Anybody, they're all getting drunk, really. I don't really collect them or anything like that. But anybody who I know has either got a collection or they've got like a cabinet or they've got multiple bottles of whiskey. So it's not like somebody who's into whiskey just buys one. So it's kind of, that me, like what you're saying, like about talking about other independent bottlers. I think everybody should be in the same in the same group or in it together sort of thing, because I'm going to buy a bottle of Fuse, I'm going to buy a bottle of Uncultured, I'm going to buy another bottle of Glass Shoe. That was the first one I had that somebody gifted me, and it was fucking beautiful, man. So, because I'm always wanting to have a...
Did you see a Buckfast?
I seen them were doing it, aye.
It's a belter,
aye.
I
told you I'd done that myself, didn't I?
Aye, you did, aye. Oh, we spoke about this actually.
Aye. I just bought a wee mini barrel, because somebody got me a famous grouse. And I was like, well, I'm not just going to kind of drink that. So somebody goes to tasting nights, he said, buy a mini barrel, fill it with Bucky, leave it in it for a few days, let the Bucky soak into the wood, empty it, pour the grouse in it, leave it in for a couple of weeks. Nice. Aye. Better than just a normal bottle of grouse.
Bucky's right up my street. So.
Aye. So then what I done was I took it back out and I put in Jack Daniels, and let Jack Daniels sit in it for a bit, took that out and put it in, so it's Bucky and Jack Daniels kind of flavour to it. So
like that wee bit home experiment.
Aye. It's nice, man. It's still got it there.
Aye, it's cool having a wee barrel as well, mate.
I think that's man.
Cool.
Aye.
I know. Tell you I've invested in a cask of whiskey, it's got Buckfast in it at a minute. But I think it's I think there's so much more stuff. Like we were talking about last week, we were talking about Glenfiddich 12 and stuff. There's so much more to whiskey than what's just coming off the shelves.
Aye.
And as Marcos said, it's like there's loads of stuff around the world that's well renowned because it's amazing and it's the best of the best because it's the best whiskey. But see, independent stuff with like cool finishes, that's a Madeira cask finish. That's lovely.
Aye.
It's really, really nice. I think it's very fruity, very rich, very... For 40%, I was quite surprised. I thought it was more than that, 45.
It's like kind of Christmassy cake, sort of. Do you know that kind of sultana cake or something?
Hang me after last one. That's the taste notes we've got for that one, isn't it? Mate, just because we were just talking about it, I've got it wrote down here. You told me your story about Alba when we were at that tasting and about your new dog.
Aye, wee Bugsy. So I lost Big Alba last year, 15th October. And then for 7 months I never had, and I was going to say I was alone. I forget I've got a wife and 2 babies. I was alone. It was the loneliest I felt. It was horrendous, man. Like I've got Big Alba tattooed on me and everything, man. So he's by my side forever. But it was brutal, and for a while I was out walking. Then I was going back up walking where I'd spread his ashes and sitting and fucking bubbling, and then sorting myself out, and then going back to my walk and that sort of thing. But I could just wasn't the same, man. You just look like a weirdo as well. She's just a guy just walking about himself. You're like, somebody's going to end up putting me on Facebook like that. Aye. You're a crap weird dog. And I bumped into a couple of boxers that were like the double Alba, and I was fucking greeting on it, clapping them, and I wanted a wee woman with one. I says, all right if I clap your dog, and she's like, hi, he's going to jump away. I said, that's what I want. And then he was jumping away and licking us and all that, and just the exact same way Alba would have. I'm greeting, she's like, you all right, son? You all right, son? And then there was another guy. I gave him the same. I says, can I give your dog a clap? And they went, aye. And again, I've started greeting, and he just left us. He obviously just knew. He's like, he just lost one big man. I says, well, months ago now, but
I'm about to start greeting, man.
I know, man.
He's like, he said, it kills you, doesn't it? And he just let me have my moment with him, man. And then it was no long after that, I actually spoke to that guy about the breeder he'd got him for. And then it was no long after that, my missus gave me that Sunday off to go out to have a date myself. And I'm a fucking dancer. But see, when she said it, my initial mental reaction was brilliant. Me and Big Alba's going out to our Sunday loch. And I went, fuck. Because even after I just lost Big Alba, I'd forgot about why I was feeling like that. And I went, I'm just going to tell Kirsty me and Big Alba's going to be for the weekend. And then I went, oh, fuck, that's why. So I then went, you know what, I'm just going to go walk myself. So I went to a different place. And it was a place up in Falkirk in my country park. 5 minutes into walking through it, I was like, that's just pure shite, man. I walked for a bit and I thought, this is murder. I went and get some tea, came home. I actually felt worse. The next day I met a lassie and she's like, oh, my pal's got a boxer puppy, blah, blah, blah. Next day after that, she texts me and says, see my pal with a boxer puppy. She's looking to rehome him. She'd asked me she asked me to ask you, would you be interested? And so the first thing I was like, I've got 2 weans. He's grew up with 2 weans, blah, blah, blah. So I said, right, I'll come meet him. So I went to meet him. 2 nights later then, it was a Friday. And I said, bring him out for the weekend and we'll see how he gets on. And then I said to her, when was he born? He was born the day after Big Alba passed away. Big Alba passed away like 10:30 at night. And then wee Bugsy was born the next day. It's
mad, isn't it?
Aye, it was mental. And I called him Bugsy because I love music artist Bugsy Malone. And I was like, what's a good name for him? And he's pure black with a wee white back there, so he's very, very unusual for a boxer. And I'm like, trying to think. And I was saying, Bugsy. Fucking Bugsy. And then I found out later on that the breeders that she got him from was in Manchester. Bugsy Malone as well. So it was just mad. And there was so many different things. Like when I've been up to the spot where I went walking with Alba, and where I go with Bugsy, there was so many weird things happening, man. Like fucking mega signs, like just sometimes just blow me away. Like wow, man, what is happening here? And then I basically went up there and said to Alba, like, is this all right? Is this the right thing to do? Gave us a wee sign, and I was like, what, man? Fucking hell, just pure blew us away.
I love stuff like
that. It was like giving us a chills, man. So then we took him on, and then that's him, man. He's fucking,
how's he been? Good.
He's pissed in the house, man. But apart from that, he's just like my wee shadow, man.
He's your boy.
Aye.
Well, first of all, I want to say, when you say I went to go and see him, I think that it's a foregone conclusion. When you go, I'm going to go and see a puppy, the one that you want to get, you go, I know that's going to happen. Like, it's a foregone conclusion. You know yourself, you were just saying it. Like it was going to, everything was leading up. You kind of knew it was going to happen. But that night you tell us that story, I was like, that's amazing, man. I've been toying with the idea of getting a dog for ages. And I was like, do you know what? I said, my missus got a new job. I was like, I'm doing this, like, I can be flexible, I could maybe do it. I went home steaming. And honestly, I think for the last maybe 4 months or something before that, I was going home every night when I was mad with it, just going on to Pets for Homes and just scrolling just looking at dogs. And I was like, and then you tell me that story, and I was like, do you know what?
Fuck it.
Went home that night, messaged the breeder the Thursday, woke up the Friday morning, text my bud saying, we're going to get a dog tomorrow in Manchester. Funny you said that.
Do you want my 2 pence to dogs and all?
Go for it.
So me and my missus Kerry, I had a family dog, Monty. He was 15 years old. He passed away in March a year ago. She had a dog called Chili. He passed away in March, the same March. So as he was 17 years old, 2 family dogs, 2 families broken. It was only 2 months, everyone's sitting moping about. So as her dad's like, I have another dog, not I go through again. My mum was like, I have another dog. And me and her, it was her that pushed it through and went that. We just drove up north and went and got another dog, got a wee cold and see me and her took me in the morning to just broke down greeting in the more huddling of getting done and took me to the families and they broke down. It's like they say, they feel so they don't want a dog, they can't go through again, but you need to be companions in your life.
It's too weird, man. It's too weird.
Mate, see, just even things you were saying there about he's your wee shadow, mate, and he's only 4.5 months, mate, he's still peeing in the house and all, do you know what I mean? Wee Guinness, he's class, but just follows you about. And see me like accidentally stalling him and he makes that wee noise, you're like, I feel like the worst cunt in the world. It's mad. This just turned into a dog podcast, apologies lads.
So you start talking about dogs.
I'll tell you another wee funny thing, right? So my mate, he lost his dog quite suddenly, no long after Big Alba passed away. And then he got a new one, wee Sonny, wee Labrador, born on the 16th of October, same date as wee Bugsy was born. We fun it like we said we'll need to get them together because they're about the same age. And he said, aye, and then when was he born? He said, I was like, mate, because we were talking about the dates where Alba passed and Bugsy been born then. I was like, mate, what about that?
I know.
He's like, fuck you know.
Well, I actually said that to you, know. It's not the same thing, it's 6 years difference, but I go to Buffs, whatever you get through for the thing, mate, it was the same day my dad had died, but like 6 years later.
Aye, that's right,
that's weird how you'd say it, because you told me that and that prompted me to go and get a dog, because I was like, the way you spoke about Alba, I was like, that's what I want, and I was like, I can't see a negative.
Mama, she would say, like, you'll have him melling us, didn't you? And I'm like, see when you're standing at the gate, shaking your ass and jumping up and down when I came home, then maybe you'll get the same attention that he does. Went all down.
Sitting on the couch, like we movie on, it's maybe just you and the dog on top of your dads and dogs here. Sitting in, man, maybe having a wee dram, the dog's just up lying in your lap, know what I mean? You're like,
nothing better, man.
He's your world, know what I mean?
It's nothing better, man.
That's what I was saying, I can't wait for the day. I've got a peated whiskey in the house that I know, I don't want to say ADHD, right, but because my mind's just flip-flopped here, but I've got a fire and I was reading a book and I read something about there's nothing better than having a whiskey by an open fire. And I put my book down and I was looking at the fire going, right, fuck this, put the book down, went and phoned a chimney sweep because that's the new who you need to phone to get it commissioned. He's come out like a week later, 2 weeks later, got it sorted, says there's 2 bits of wood you need to cut out. And he's like, cut the 2 bits of wood out and you can use your fire. And I know I can't wait for like a stormy night in November when it's freezing outside. I come back in, pour a peated dram, get him dried off and put the fire on. And I'm hoping my birds at a hen do or something, you know what I mean? Just sit in the house myself.
I didn't twig, right? It was a wee bit before my birthday and my missus was trying to get ideas. She's like, what would your perfect day be? So I'm like, that's like a perfect day. I was like waking up, a wee cabin or something like that, a wee cottage, looking out in the countryside, looking out onto the water, go out and sit, have a wee coffee, me and a few dogs, go out, walk the dogs and that, come back, get a bit of lunch, go for a wee snooze, get up, man, go and get a chippy for your dinner, sit about and have a wee, and then watch the water, watch the sea, have a whiskey and that, wee fire going, tunes on and that. And I'm away, I'm there, I'm gone, I'm just verbalising what I'm thinking, seeing in my head. And she's sitting like that, you fucking dick, man. She's
not been mentioned once in the perfect day.
She went, do you know you've not mentioned me or your 2 sons at any point in this? I'm like, so I had to get a play off as a joke. I was like, well, you did say my perfect day. I was like, what do you want from me, man?
We were talking about this. I was on your Insta stories, mate, the other day. Was it, because I think you were having a cut of drams, and you had an Insta story and your boy had his foot in your face.
Oh, man.
Mate, I was rolling about laughing.
It was, I've got a missus, 2 weans, 2 wee boys are 5 and 6. So I said, see my house, the way my house is, it's like being at a party years ago when my dog is the pal that I've brought who's ended up going off his nut and he keeps doing shit and keeps getting up to stuff and you're having to kind of control him. My 2 weans are like 2 boys who've been at the party and they're wired and they're talking at you. The 2 of them are just talking at you but having a conversation where there's like something on the background as well, and then they're having a conversation with each other while they're talking at you. And then I say my missus is like the bird whose house it is, who's starting to go fucking raging and going psycho because everybody's been there too long. Shit's getting spilt, shit's getting broken, shit's too loud, and she's just ready to go for that. Mate, there was people I had never even spoke to, like, that's my house, that's so accurate, that's what it's like.
I think it is, man.
And then I was sitting in
laughing.
My wee boy, he's like with his feet on my face going, but Daddy, I just want, a cake is just like the biscuit, it's just the same. He was wanting a big rocky road at 10 o'clock at night or something, man.
I'll get him charging, whatever there was.
Like, hey, you're bed, man. There was other week as well, and it was something I was doing a wee story about fucking trying to get the Waynes to bed. And I'd got them into bed and they kept getting up and pissing about and I was like, fuck it, man. So I went down and poured a dram and I came up and I was sitting in the hall making sure they were staying in their bed. And then I done a wee story and my mate seen it, he went, you get the drams out already, because he's just seen the top of the glass just sneaking into the camera shot, man. Because I was moaning about the Waynes, man.
Mate, it's funny how, it's weird how alcohol can serve different purposes, mate. It's never been one for me as like a stress reliever.
Aye.
I always used to see people talk about coming home, you used to talk about it theirs, sometimes a stress reliever. I've never had that. Like, I've never went in the house and went, I'll have a can or a dram to calm down. I'm more like, oh, I'm cozy as fuck. This is class, this could be much better.
Aye.
And then you go and have it and then you start melting into the couch.
Aye.
I've not got Wayne, so it's no, and I've not really had many chances to do that with a dog either.
Aye.
Because he's still mental himself. But like, it's weird how it might, because my life is my wee bit before you have no got kids. So my life might turn into that. But it's the new, it's not a stress reliever, it's more something.
It's just having a whiskey is just like, I want silence, or I maybe just want a wee bit of background tunes. Even when my missus is there, I'm like, just don't talk to each other.
What kind of tunes are your background tunes? Because I've heard your...
It'll be like, it'll be the Irish sort of stuff, or it'll be...
Good choice.
Or it'll be like kind of old school hip hop, gangster rap sort of stuff, like from the 90s. So it'll be like that sort of thing. That'll be the kind of backgroundy sort of stuff. But like, sometimes I'll have a whiskey. My Waynes don't really see me having a whiskey. Sometimes they do, but they don't see it changing me. So to them, it's just the same as coffee or juice or anything like that. And I had to go to pick I had went to a whiskey tasting night and I'd left my van at my pal's house. So we were going up to pick the van up. And wee Jojo, my youngest, was like, Daddy, why do we need to go and do this? Why did you leave your van at your friend's house? I said, because I was going to whiskey tasting. Why can't you take your van to whiskey tasting? I said, you can't drive your van, you can't drive and you've been drinking whiskey. And he went, I know, in case you spill it. I was like, aye, wee man.
It's mental how Wayne seeds work in it. That's brilliant, isn't it? What's your advice for folk? Because, again, me and Andrew were relatively chatty anytime we bumped into each other talking nonsense, more or less straight away. I like talking to bartenders, man. What's your thing, mate? Obviously, you said you had a bit of a dick, which doesn't really bode well for the bars. I'm trying to encourage people to go in and try and talk to a bartender.
That was in a kind of fancy hotel. That was.
Which one?
Do I name drop them?
No, I don't name drop them, but what city was it in?
In the town.
Oh, right, okay, cool.
I
don't think I've been into a bar in the town. A whiskey bar?
It was a wee whiskey. It was one of the kind of fancy ones in the town. I'm trying to think of something.
It sounds scary.
Something that rings it. Don't worry, man.
It sounds scary to say to somebody, because Jason liked whiskey before me and then he took me to tasting, then we've been to some whiskey bars and I've talked to people. It sounds scary to say to somebody, the best thing you could do is just go to a tasting blind, or go to a whiskey bar blind, just say, I don't drink whiskey, I'd like to try and get into it, and just let them take you on a journey.
Aye.
So it's because 99% 99% of them, I would say, of the people that work in these places, like they love passing on their knowledge. They learn that sounds scary.
See, when I started going to tasting nights up in Spirit of Alba, funny enough, that was the name of it. The wee shop up in Kirky. When I started to go to that, and I started to get a taste for the good stuff and the independent bottlers and all that sort of thing, and it just opened up. It just opened up a new kind of world for us, and I was like, this supermarket push, man, I'm not drinking that.
Mate, I was the same. I've got a shelf full of it. I must have, that's what I'm saying, it's all the stuff. It's
Can you get out of the veins? That's diluting juice.
I don't know.
40%, I felt bad when I said it, but that 40% because you brought it. But I don't feel, I think whiskey between 40 and cask strength, it's good. I don't think people can be snobby about that.
I was lucky, I'd only ever tried Teachers. My mate had got a jump in when we were 14. So as he told us off the bottle of Teachers, and
who was
Get your
that?
stomach pumped.
I won't say his name.
What's the name with?
Dawson. And it was a 90s 16th party. He got a bottle of Teachers, and then his mum had to pick him up. I tried that, minging. My pops and my mum's husband Graham, they liked White Mackay's, like the basic dram they would drink. I tried that by pouring it out, filling it up with water. Only drank it to get drunk, and then Jason took me a single malt whiskey tasting, and that was it. Tried 5 amazing drams. Can't remember who the first one was.
I think I would have probably had to have done the kind of normal stuff first. I think if I just went, like my big mate I took to the CCC, I think if I just jumped right in, it's like, whoa man.
Mate, it's overstimulation. Like you go, that's still too, you need to get it out the road with the running a mill stuff you get off the shelf.
One of my mates that comes to some of the tastings with, he's like, oh, I didn't like number 3, do you want that? And he gave me it, man, and it was like up to there, and I was like, much water have you put in that? And because he even puts a lot of water into the normal stuff, he puts water in that, no just a scoosh, like he fills it up. I'm like, mate, you've absolutely killed that, man. Why did you do that?
Marcos was saying that as well. He's like, well, saying this is common sense when somebody explains it, but seeing the big blending places, when they're blending whiskey, they dilute everything down to 20% so they can taste more of it, like almost like stir it out a wee bit so they can see more of the flavour. I was sitting just going, these guys must be steaming all the time. And then it's just common sense, obviously they're spitting it out and they're like watering it down and stuff. But again, that thing is, what we spoke about is people are feared to look stupid. So see, I remember the first 2 or 3 whiskey tastings I went to, I was like feared to walk in, feared back to being in school, who am I going to sit next to? Do you know what I mean?
When I went, I just started asking questions right away. I was like, can you tell me, what does that mean and what does this mean? And so what's the process with that? And just kept asking questions. I was just like, just with the kind of layman's terms, you know what I mean? Just and the first one I went to was a lassie, Libby, I think she's from Yorkshire, but she grew up in, she claimed to be Scottish, but she had a Yorkshire accent. She worked for Glasgow, the Glasgow distillery.
Yes, I follow on Instagram.
Brilliant. It was her that got me into putting a wee splash of water. I'm like, nah, I'm not doing that. No putting water in my whiskey. And she said, imagine smelling a cold fish supper. Now imagine smelling a roasting hot fish supper. You smell the vinegar and blah, blah, blah. She went, when you put a wee splash of water into a dram, that's like it opens up, it's like a warm fish supper. So that analogy worked for me because I like a chippy.
I know. So that was what anybody.
And she said, I use that analogy because she used to work in a chippy when she was younger. I was like, right, cool, I'm on your level here. So, but any tasting nights, I would just ask because everybody was kind of sitting and I knew people were going, I'm like, just ask. And then the boy Andy, he's like, mate, after a night one night, and he said, see everything you were asking? I was like, I wanted to ask it, but I didn't know how to look like a dick. I'm like, I would sit in uni with 150 students in a lecture and like, any questions, I'd be like, can you go over that bit again? Because I'm just not getting it. Like,
well, when I was a panel beater, when I was learning by making mistakes. It wasn't asking questions, it was just up basically, do you know what I mean? Which,
yeah, we did.
Which you don't really want to do and fail exams.
They are the only 2 ways to learn is just to ask or make a mistake.
Make a mistake, then reflect.
I was just make mistake after mistake after mistake, and I ended up turning out quite good at panel beating, do you know what I mean? It's not serving me very well now because I'm trying to start selling whiskey. But I think people are feared to look stupid. People are feared to look stupid because...
See, once you get older, man, you start to give less of a fuck, do you know what I mean? Less a point to prove or that.
Any pub I've been in the town, it's a whiskey bar, all the staff have been brand new. Like, they want to tell you. We came to a whiskey tasting in here and there was a Canadian mumming up the back. It was Dalmore and Fettercairn that was on. And a guy Mateo, I think he's quite well known because he's a rep for Dalmore. Right. So he's Spanish or Portuguese or something.
A bit of a boy.
Nah, but he's like always in a suit and all that, always looks very smart. But he was very, very good, and you can tell why he was working for the big guns, basically. But the woman was asking questions, and see all the old boys in a bit like, oh, for fuck's sake. And you're like, I kind of want to know what she's... Some of the questions were just quite stupid, but I was like, but I know at one point I'd have been asking that question. And then I'd have been the same. I was like, I'd maybe not ask that question, but I'm glad somebody else did. So it is... I'd highly encourage anybody, if you're interested in going to try whiskey, go in, a whiskey bar, if you're out with your missus, out with your husband, whatever you're doing, go and ask for a nice, easy to drink dram. Any whiskey bartender is going to be friendly, want to help you, want to get you into whiskey. Everybody, 90% of people who work behind the whiskey bar like whiskey. And they're going to know a bit because they work behind the whiskey bar. They'll be more than happy to help you. Just go and try it.
I was in Tesco or something. It was at Christmas time, and there was a woman, she was looking at Jack Daniels, she was looking at this and she was looking at that, and I was like, oh no, but she went and picked a bottle of Talisker. And I was like, fucking hell man, that's a bit of a...
I know why she's picked it, it looks nice though.
Aye. I was like, that's a bit of an acquired one, but because she was there, she was Jack Daniels, she was here, and I was like, did I say to her here, do you want me to talk to you and maybe talk you around what should be an easy one if you don't really know the person? Because she was all over the place and she went, a bottle of Talisker. I'm like, that's a bit of a fucking rough one. That's no
Did you
easy.
say her?
No, I just left her, man. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to offend her here.
There are people that are going to go, look at this guy trying to tell me what to do. And you're never going to win sometimes.
Never knew, man. It's the person I liked the Talisker.
I know, I've never... It's never been for me, man. Like, see that heavy... Again, I need to try... Just go
I've had a bottle.
end.
Somebody got me a bottle and I've drank a bottle. There's no much of no... If anybody's... I always just say, anything apart from Lefroy. Like, I'll probably be able to drink it. Or maybe not buy the bottle again or whatever, but...
I was saying this him earlier before we tried the final dram. I never really liked peated ones. I'm new at the churning used to. My brother-in-law Liam, I told him that and he really in his whiskey. He bought me a Lefroy and he just went, just drink that. And see, ever since I drank it, everything that's been peated, I've enjoyed. It's low on the scale. I know that's really high on the scale, but I tried that one earlier. He's like, I still peated. I'm like, I just think that's right. It almost put my scale up the way what I classed as.
What I found, it was at a tasting night and somebody said, who likes PT, who doesn't? And I'm like, I'm not a big fan of it when you buy a bottle. And he said, you know the difference between like mainland peat, so I think it's like lowland or something like that. Or there's like mainland peat and then there's island peat. It's very different. So like the island peat is very, very strong, but the mainland stuff's not just as bad. So I had a bottle of Kalila, Uncharted. It was an Uncharted whiskey bottle in one. And,
beautiful bottles.
Nice bottles. And it was
bottles.
finished in an orange wine cask. It was called Tutti Frutti and it was fucking delicious.
Sounds
it had
lovely.
just enough smoke. Like, just enough smoke, but then that fruity taste to it. It was fucking beautiful, man.
Aye, that's class, man. I tried one of those and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Cannot remember. All their stuff's named after tunes or something in it.
Oh, is it? Aye.
I don't know. I feel like it is. I think the bottle I've got is named after a tune. It was nice.
Can we go for this third
Go
one,
for
man?
this.
Aye.
You choking to go out here?
No, I'm joking about a wee taste.
Sorry, mate. Sorry when you go.
Me run through it,
You're on for it, mate. Aye.
So it's 10-year-old Glenarchy Distillery. They won Distillery of the Year this year, so we were lucky to get it before they won that. 10 years, fully matured in a sherry Oloroso Hogshead. So as its full life, so you can tell it's good because it's very similar in colour to Bucky.
Aye. This one came at that was in a cask at 63%, mate. And see when I had the, do you know what, I'm going to do that now because I've hardly pulled myself in that one. Hang about a bit.
So see that one, did you got that in a sherry cask, in a Oloroso
Aye,
cask?
so everything
Did you finish it in anything else, or did you just take it straight from that bottle?
So we haven't got the pleasure of time or funds. Do you know what I mean? So we make sure we taste everything that we try, everything that they buy to put in a bottle. We make sure we taste. A lot of people won't sell you samples. Like bigger companies will be buying 50 casks at a time and just then taking it into a warehouse and tasting what they've got, and then seeing, oh, that can go into that. Dram will do that. They buy maybe not 50, but they buy some, figure out how it could be finished in. That's what it was telling us about. But we don't have the luxury of doing that, so we had to find stuff that we liked at the time. So we were getting it and basically just trying it. That was at 63%. I didn't get to try it to 63% because it was Glenallachie and it was fully matured and all also sherry. I was like, that's quite good. We're just going to take this one. And that was the biggest gamble, but I love that one.
I bought a cask of Glenallachie during just around about the lockdown time. Got it early when the guy Billy Walker had just taken over. So I had got it through a guy, the advice, he was brilliant. He just gave me loads of information and says, go away and come back. I'd phoned a couple of places and they were like hounding me. I wasn't even phoning me no long ago. I was like, mate, away you go, man. They were hounding me. But so I then checked in with somebody here who I know is in the trade, and he's like, I would go for that. I said, and what he's saying ties in. And then since then, I've spoke to people when I've been going to nights and things like that, and they're like, when did you get that? And I'm like, however long ago, and they're like, did you pay it? I'm like, no, I never paid. And in this kind of terms, I never paid a lot of money. I was like, fucking hell, man. Hold on to that. What are you doing with it, man?
How old is it now?
How old is it now? Aye.
About 8 years maybe. I think it was about 3-year-old when I bought it.
All right,
so it must be about 8 years now.
Have you had an, was this the cask you were talking to me about?
No, I'm going to get a wee sample of it. I'm going to get a wee taste.
Definitely. Do you know what it's in?
No. Do you know what? I'll need to find the paperwork and dig it out, because now it makes sense to us. Do you know what I mean? It wouldn't have made sense to me before.
Sense at the time. Mate, people talk to me all the time and think, like, are you selling casks? And I was like, no, I don't really do that. It's like a whole different kind of side of business, investing, and I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that for somebody. It's no, for me at the minute, I don't know enough about it when they do that. I know people who do successfully do it and buy stuff, but there's so many scams. But I was finding, see after that scam, do you remember the scam broke out?
I seen a thing in the telly about it, aye.
And people were buying stuff that was just buying £100,000 worth of stuff, and it just didn't exist.
Aye, they were just buying a bit of paper.
It was worth 40 grand or 30 grand, or 10 grand.
There was something that was just, there was non-existent.
Aye.
They were just like, aye, I'll sell you this and sell you that, and I'll just sell you a certificate. Aye. And then they were trying to chase up, and they're like, nah, it doesn't exist.
And it's weird. Independent bottlers are kind of an antidote to that, because we buy the stock. Like, you need to bottle at one point for it to be of any value. You can keep selling it, but if nobody bottles it, it's just going to waste away. The angel share is going to take it to nothing. So we're the solution to that, bottling it. So I think people were kind of getting a wee bit spooked with that, because people do say that whiskey is going through a bit of a tougher time now since the start of this year. Perfect time for us to start selling whiskey. So, but I was kind of noticing people were kind of pushing cask days a wee bit more.
Aye.
I think they're just maybe trying to get rid of stuff to just in case it was going down. They didn't want to be caught with their hands in their pockets.
What do you want to do with you? Cash? You want to bottle it for a special occasion, or you want to move it on?
I'm probably just move it on. At the time when I got it, the guy I got it through, because I was saying, like, what's your entail? Like, why are you? Because he just took a flat fee. I was like, so what's in it for you to get me a good cask and a good kind of deal here? And he says, well, my hope is, you're not tied to it, but my hope is you come back to me when you're ready to sell it, and I get 10%. And I was like, right, cool. I understand your angle and why you're trying to get me a good deal now. And I just asked him, like, dead, straightforward, plain, obvious questions. So I was like, mate, I know you deal with this stuff all the time, and this is quite a small deal for some of the things that you do, but for me it's quite big. I can't just fling this money away.
You get a wee bottle of it before you sell it.
I'm gonna get a wee sample of it, and then at the time he said Asia was a big market. That's where you want to get the most money for.
I think we're talking to Paul, Brave New Spirits, who's coming on next week. He was telling us that, funny enough, actually, when he was telling us, Paul's been very helpful. He's got a bond up in Royston, so I went up to go and talk to him. Aye. And mate, I stay in Steps. Well, I used to stay in Steps, from stays in Steps. I pulled into the Co-op car park and I just looked here, and he's in his motor, and it looked like he was nodding off, but he was reading his phone. So I beeped the horn at him, and he's went like that and looked at me as if, who's this wee fanny? And he's rolled the window down. I was like, what's happening? It's Jason from the Acropolis Spirits. So, how you doing? And me and him are just shouting from motor to motor. Aye, Asia's doing quite well now. Just random. I was like, how you getting on? And he was just telling us a bit about what they do and stuff, and it was very interesting. But it's mad how, like, Asia, America, and Europe, how it's different.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got Brexit and stuff. We've never near doing anything like that. Do you know what I mean? We're just trying to get people to drink whiskey in Glasgow, and in our own G33. That's about it.
Start Glasgow, Beijing next. What do you think of the last dram? You seem to quite enjoy it.
It was nice. It was nice and quite smooth.
I can't remember fucking.
Don't know, I thought I got a kind of coffee at one point, but...
Fair play. If you get what you get, always say that.
I don't know what I'm getting. It's not dead fruity. It's more...
I've lost my dram. It's in there somewhere. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I think it's that one, but... no, any pressure. We're doing it the last couple of minutes, I think.
Aye.
Paul indicated.
It's like kind of...
It was either 5 minutes to go or 5
a deep kind of cherry or something like that. Like kind of forest fruit sort of.
I've had people say that before. Also, I think
it's not a citrusy. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not a citrusy. It's more like kind of...
Well, you taste what you taste, mate. What was your... Probably the favourite was the one you brought, but...
Not... Do you know...
Because you've got a Dillion already. That's the reason why we're not trying a Dillion.
Yep.
You still get that?
No, I drank that. It's done.
Aye.
I kept the bottle for some reason, but I quite liked the bottle, so I kept it.
Did you scan the side and
No,
watch
I've
the
not done
videos?
that, man. No, I need to do
Right,
that.
you still get the bottle. So if you scan the side of any of the bottles, there'll be videos again, bottled, labelled, some podcast stuff, introduction to the company. So
what I've done is I've kept a few bottles because I've got an infinity bottle in the house. So everything, once went through a bottle and I've just got a wee tiny bit left, I'm just pulling it in the infinity one.
That's cool, man.
So
how full's the bottle? Was it full?
Aye, it'll probably never really go down too much, man. So it's like 3/4 full just now.
Aye.
And then
How's it taste?
Mental. But it's good because it's like loads of whiskies that I've really liked. There's some that I was like, I'm not putting that in because it's already mental enough and there's too much I kick with it. And then somebody had got me a wee bottle of Ben Bracken. It's the Lido one. It's actually alright.
Stuff, mate.
It's alright, man. So it was a wee bit too all over the place. So I put a bit of that in, just taking a mellow out a wee bit.
Great colour.
And then because I've got the wee cask, I thought some bottles that are nice to look at, I'll keep them. So when I'm going to do something, then I've got it out.
My fear is that you make one of them infinity bottles and you make something absolutely dynamite and you can just never recreate it.
I know.
You're like, oh no, what's going on here? I think we need to wrap up.
I think to go for my favourite, I think probably the first one.
First one, tea in it.
What was it?
This one.
Aye, tea in it.
Save.
That. Then the Glenallachie. And then the Aberfeldy. Aye.
Well, fantastic. You're a professional, so you've ranked it. That's correct. I'm kidding on. Well, Mark, thanks very much for coming. I really appreciate your time.
Man.
It was enjoyable.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate.
It was funny. Aye. Again, the message for it is go to a pub, try a whiskey. Don't be afraid of looking stupid. Just go and try a whiskey. Talk to your bartenders. Go to whiskey tastings. Ask as many questions as you want.
Get sniffing, get your tongue wet, man.
Get sniffing. Don't do that, hold on. Right, anyway, as always, our link is in the bio for the NFC chip. The NFC chip takes you to the behind the scene bottlings, so we filmed everything. So basically when you go back, you can scan our bottle in the flesh, or you can go and click the link in the bio. It will take you to a page on our website, fill in your details. It does two things where it enters you into a draw to win a free bottle of whiskey every month just by being signed up. You only sign up once. And then once you sign up, you can watch the full bottling. So you can see the whole behind the scenes process. You can see me having several meltdowns. Not dissimilar to me having a meltdown earlier when I was sweating my pan. So, thanks guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Hopefully there's got to be more of these to come.